Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees. Being 8.5 games back from the Boston Red Sox in the AL East, mainly due to that disastrous 4-game sweep up at Fenway, especially that last game, with Chapman blew, that was really a killer. It's just the Yanks are relegated to the wild card. The only good news is that they'll be the top wild card spot. That means it'll be likely a home game at Yankee Stadium, where the Yankees play well and hit a lot of home runs. And looks like, the hot Oakland A's will be the visiting team. But the only problem is it's one game where, Oakland can come in and score like 30 runs, so that's the problem. It's the same position the Yankees were in last year, and they got one game away from the World Series, so it's not impossible. It's just frustrating to have this great season. You're 33 games over 500, and now you're just relegated to being a wild card team. The wild card isn't a bad thing. I mean, it is great just to be in the playoffs. And both the Yankees and the Red Sox are managing their rosters this way, just kind of knowing, predetermined where they're going to be. Red Sox, for example, shut down Chris Sale again within, recent weeks, shoulder inflammation. Now, maybe there's a little more to this than they're leading on, but, in recent years, Sale has struggled in September, so they figured, let's rest him up for a playoff run. And the Yankees kind of doing the same thing in CC Sabathia. They shut him down for 10 days for knee discomfort, which he probably had. Now, if he really had to pitch, he probably would have. But they figure, all right, you know what? We're probably going to be a wild card team. Let's not push our guys too hard. And the Yankees are going to use September to get healthy, hopefully get Judge back, get Sanchez back, get Didi back, get Chapman back, not push guys hard, and just hope for that one-game wild card. You win it, and then once you get in the playoffs, that's when it's, nose to the grindstone. Now, around the trade deadline, we were wondering it was going to be like a mystery move Cashman was going to pull out of his, sleeve that, we didn't expect. And that person was Lance Lynn. Now, I know he struggled his last two starts, but overall, Lance Lynn has been great for the Yankees. And with him and Jay Happ, who's also been fabulous, the rotation overall is just in a much better place where it was than maybe compared to a month or two ago when you had like Domingo Germán and Losica in there and all these guys kind of in and out shuffling. Now you have a consistent rotation of 5 guys, and over the long haul, at least for September, that should be a good thing for the team. The only knock against J.A. Happ is that, well, first of all, is either J. Happ or J.A. Happ. No one can even figure this out, but that's a minor detail. But he throws a good start for the Yankees, and then he gets this hand, foot, and mouth disease that Noah Syndergaard got. How do you even get that? And Sonny Gray. Maybe it's my fault. I'm the bad luck. Every time I speak well of him, he struggles. Well, he struggled mightily, and it got to a point where they had to ditch him in the bullpen. So now he's like the long relief guy. He actually was instrumental in one of the wins against the White Sox, so it was a good spot for him. It's just they had to get him out of there because he was just becoming an automatic loss. Now, I don't say he's a totally hopeless cause, so I don't want to re-jinx him again, but the Yankees still have him for contract next year, so you could use this time to maybe help him figure himself out, figure out some pitches, and maybe by next year you could think of him as a starter again. But right now, for the rest of the season, he's a long relief spot starter guy. Now, I was happy the Yankees kept Bird around the trade deadline. I did not want to give up on him, even though he's been struggling, and he hit an occasional home run. You start feeling good about him, and then he kind of just disappears for a while. Still young, 25, 26 years old. You just got to bear with it. I know fans are frustrated, but I have a feeling, and maybe I'm just being a bit of a dreamer, that like last year in the playoffs, once it's game time, he'll start hitting some big dramatic home runs, and he'll just change everyone's perception of him. And we're in the dog days of August, and the team overall, you can't really say they're terrible. I mean, you're 33 games over 500. The problem is just the Red Sox are having like the season of seasons, and it's not really the Yankees' fault, but it just, they kind of look sluggish right now. They're kind of just getting by, and maybe it's just because we don't see as many home runs, and Judge is out, and these guys are out, and the roster looks a little flat. And if you remember last year, they were kind of in the same spot. They had the great start, but the second half of the season, they were just awful, and we figured, this team's a bust to come back and rally. So I want to give up hope on the Yankees. They could just, maybe just catch some fire in September and just roll into the playoffs. It's always possible. But just at this moment, you look at them, you're just kind of like, they could probably win that wild card game, but I just don't know if they could proceed in October with the ferocity that they had last season. There's no real update on Judge's timetable. Initially, they told us it was only going to be 3 weeks, and now it's always adding a week, adding a week, adding a week. Still, he hasn't swung a bat, has done other baseball activities, but really, when you talk about a wrist injury like this, until you actually see him in the lineup, I'm almost not going to count them for the rest of the season. And the knee tendonitis finally balked too much up on Chapman. He had to be taken out of the game, and now he's on the DL for a couple of weeks. And kind of had the feeling why they picked up Zach Britton a couple of weeks ago, but the problem with him is that he really hasn't returned to the form they thought he would be, so, that's a bit of a bummer. But the only good news about the bullpen has been Tommy Kahnle. Kind of looks like the guy from last year, not the guy we saw back in April and May who was barely touching, 93 on the gun. Throwing in his high 90s, striking guys out, kind of looks like the Kahnle, and that's kind of the shot in the arm the Yankees need. And the injuries just keep racking up for the Yankees in this, weird season. Didi Gregorius goes down with a heel injury. Nothing too serious. Should be back, in a week or two. But you add that, you add Chapman, you add losing Judge's bat, you losing Sanchez bat for a while, and this team's been sputtering, trying to score runs. Now, it seems like Stanton has really been hitting his stride. Remember early in the season, fans were getting all over him. It seems like every other game, Stanton's hitting a home run now. But still, with those major guys out, it puts the focus in. Well, pitchers can pitch around Stanton now. They don't have to throw him a good fastball to hit, and this offense has been sputtering a little bit. Now, a short-term solution while Didi's out is moving Gleyber Torres from second base to his natural position, shortstop. And actually, defensively, he looks much smoother, much natural there. You remember a couple weeks ago, actually, at second base, they would consider, talking he's not hustling, stuff like that. Well, he's playing out of position. He's still a young guy. So, shortstop, he looks much better. I hope Didi comes back as soon as possible, but at least defensively, Gleyber Torres, it's a good option to have. To complement moving Torres to shortstop it's great to have a guy like Neil Walker, natural second baseman. Now you can insert him as a second baseman for a while. Great fix, veteran, and I've been wrong about him. I'll continue to eat crow about him. That's why you really shouldn't listen to a fan like me. Well, listen to me like 80% of the time, but not 20% of the time, because he's just been fabulous for the Yankees. His batting average is going way up. Hitting his spots, starting rallies, hitting home runs where he can. And again, not only playing second base, but when they need the spot, start him at first base, he can handle that. They even put him in the outfield. He's even playing right field to help, with Judge being gone. So, I mean, he's been a godsend for this team. Again, I'm happy to be wrong about him. And when you have a season where guys are struggling or you go somewhere, you always look at your roster and it's like, who had a surprising season? Who was the guy that shocked you? And Neil Walker could be that guy. The good news is that we're a week away from September call-up, so the roster expands to 40 people, so now Aaron Boone will have more players at his disposal, and who knows, one of these young guys might come up and catch fire. It's just been a little bit of a patchwork for the Yankees, and they're going to need some other guys to step up, so maybe it's a Luke Voigt, who the Yankees got in the Shreve trade. With Bird struggling a little bit, you give him some at-bats, he's going to do it. And you look at the bullpen, it just seems a little shaky. Robinson and Green have been getting a lot of home runs, very uncharacteristic compared to last year, but Jonathan Holder's been stepping up, so when you have a season like this where guys get hurt, guys are struggling, you just need these these unspoken heroes, these guys that come out of nowhere to sort of fix things up. Well, the Yankees will get a little healthy a little sooner. Gary Sanchez starts a rehab assignment this week. Now, it's a groin injury, especially as a catcher in the crouching position. That could always be an issue at any time, and that's mainly the reason why he doesn't run hard to first base. I don't want him running hard to first base if he's going to re-pull the groin. I'd rather have his bat back in the lineup. But anyway, he's rehabbing from that, so maybe by next week we get him back in the lineup, and the Yankees are going to need him. And hopefully, at least average-wise, maybe in September he just starts hitting the ball well and he kind of makes up for the sluggish start he had to the season. Early on in the season, it was Gleyber Torres who was getting all the fanfare, and kind of Miguel Andujar was the sidekick, and everyone was saying, oh, Torres, it could be the next Jeter and stuff like that. And he could be. I think he's going to be a great player, but he went down for a while, and he's been struggling a little bit, getting a little better. But Miguel Andujar, wow, batting .297, 36 doubles, 20 home runs, 66 RBIs, and he's just a kid. He's just getting started. So the Yankees aren't going to be able to stop the Red Sox. I mean, there's winning too many games, and there's too far behind. So September is all going to be about getting healthy and at least making sure you have that home game at Yankee Stadium. You got to hold off the Oakland A's. Right now, the Yankees have a 4.5 game lead in the wild card. So once in a while, you might have to push the pedal to the metal to maintain that lead, so you don't want to lose being the home team. But we'll see what happens. Crazy things have happened, such as the '78 Yankees. So we'll just have to see what's in the cards.